He's not moved, but I'm keeping an eye on him.
You got spider issues, don't you?
I got a spider in the corner, right in the corner up there. He's got to be, just a double battery. He's got to be about this big. That's about how big he is. And he's in the corner there, so I'm watching.
Yeah, one of those West Palm Beach jumping spiders there, or
God knows. Everything down here is in steroid mode. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. We are simulcast with KGRADB.com, KGRA on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is George Lopez. With me, as always, Mr. Ken DeCosta. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing okay, man. We finally got rid of our rain. Nice day. The last 4 or 5 days. Awesome.
Really?
Just an ideal New England fall day. The trees are turning. There's all sorts of colors out there. And, you know, I haven't seen so many colors all at once since the mid-'70s.
And probably for medicinal purposes only, I would imagine.
Yeah. No, experimental.
What is ideal as far as temperatures for you?
Oh, anywhere around 65 degrees. We hit 70 up here. We got the best of both worlds. This is like pretty awesome up here. So we're enjoying it, you know, a little bit of fall yard work, trying to get some grass planted, saying hello to everybody in chat here. Hey, Joseph, Maria, how you doing?
Hello.
Jeff Hilton. Hello. We can't do that anymore, can we? We can't do that. Hello. Yeah, we can.
We'll probably get a strike.
Too soon?
We'll get a strike. That's all.
MB, Mary Beth. Charles Smart, nice opening. Hey, nice opening for you too, Charles. Way to go. We like that.
Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget, if you're joining us for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Very important. Also, click on the reminder bell for upcoming content. Most importantly, that thumbs up. Click on it right now as we are just talking about random stuff. Yeah, I have a cousin of mine who lives in New Jersey. They went to a wine festival yesterday, posted it on social media. Also, happy anniversary to Mr. John Zaffis and his wife. We saw that posting on social media. But it's a holiday time frame here, and we are talking about, from the paranormal perspective, our favorite month of the year. And so we wanted to do something tonight within that realm. And Ken, if you want to kind of explain to everybody where we are going tonight, why we don't have a guest, and why we wanted to do what we wanted to do this evening.
Because we're the guests tonight.
Good God.
And it's our show. No, seriously, every once in a while, what we like to do is just spend a little time with you, the people in chat, all of our very, very loyal audience that we appreciate so much. Dead Air Full Spectrum just passed the 1,000 subscriber mark, so this is a hallmark. So what we wanted to do tonight, like we do once in a while, because George and I have like decades of experience doing this thing, which, you know, that and 35 cents will get you a cup of coffee sometimes. But through the years, we've managed to document and collect a lot of what you would term evidence. So every few months, without being too redundant, we like to pop on and play some of this for you and let you see and hear some of the things on investigations that we like, because everybody loves evidence. You know, at the end of the day, we understand it. So get your take on it and what you have to say. And every one of these has been chosen for a specific reason. It's not just listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. They have talking points on them that we would love to engage you folks in. There might be some that are in a different language, for example, and that's something that's talked about a lot. There are some where history corroborates what you've collected or vice versa. What you collect and document means the history is accurate. So there's kind of like a method to our madness tonight. So we hope you enjoy this and participate in this. Let us know what you think. So we're not going to rush through them. We probably won't get to everyone tonight because we uploaded a bunch of them. And, kind of like pick and choose what we think will make you at least go, huh. I'm not talking about massive screams, but maybe if you just go, huh.
Arsenio Hall hum. Things that
make you go, We'll take it.
We apologize if phone lines are not up and running tonight because we'd have you call in and give your remarks. So the chat room will do. So who do we have to bounce this off of, Ken, that might be worthwhile with some paranormal background experience, has done some investigations out there before? Who could we have join us at this time?
Yeah, we need somebody who checks out
Bill
boxes.
Bill Forte.
I'm not worthy.
I just thought it would be, if we're going to do this tonight, we're going to have the entire Dead Air crew.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Forte.
Oh, I just hope.
Tell him what he's won.
I hope we
sorry.
see that spider, because he keeps looking back, folks. You don't know it, but he's looking back to see if that spider comes out.
Freaking huge. And over my shoulder. So that's it.
All right, let's get
rocking. Just prefacing a lot of this also, guys, as we go through this tonight, some of it for our long time viewers and listeners that have been with Dead Air longer than the time we've been here with KGRA might seem redundant, but it's important because there are a lot of people out there who haven't gotten a chance to see some of the evidence Ken and I have collected over the collective 50, 60 years. So, please and sit back and relax and enjoy. And Ken, I'll give you the first start with this. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first clip, we'll get right into it. The first couple have to do with object manipulation. Okay, this is a big deal where we ask ourselves, can spirits move things? You get up in the morning and it was over here and now it's over there. You go to a hotel, your suitcases are packed. So what is the possibility of manipulation? So the first clip we're going to play is a place that we had gone to a number of times called Smith's Castle. It's in Rhode Island. And
Who we, Ken?
Rise Up Paranormal.
Ooh, good team.
Rise Up Paranormal. Yeah, they're okay. And the thing about this place was doors opening, even for guests, opening like right into their face and literally slamming somebody's daughter right in the head with one.
Ouch.
So, yeah, it was rude. But this particular clip, we were in the right place at the right time, and we were shooting an episode of a internet show we used to do called Paranormal Truth, and we had a couple of cameramen in this room with Chris Blanchett and I. And the door that hadn't been known to open, we were in the right place at the right time, as I said, and we managed to get this on film. And what you're going to see is this door was closed. And just before it opens, you're literally going to hear the latch go off. So that's probably the most compelling thing. Adam, yeah, rise up. So let's get right to it. A lot of these things we probably will repeat only at Bill's behest if he wants to see him again. Okay. But I'm moving around. I apologize for the butt shot I'm about to give you, but things happen. But you will hear the latch go off just a second before the door actually opens on its own. Here we go.
The hangings, we remember the deaths, we remember the soldiers who were buried up back, but the joyful things are getting lost. So can you help us with that? Remember something joyful that happened in this house. Tell us something joyful. Tell us something happened. Open a door.
That's the
gas because I closed that thing. Even with the wires under it, it was still closed.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Let's just go with it till we prove it otherwise.
The door is open. Great, thank you.
All right, all right.
All right.
Dad butt. Definitely a dad butt.
All
For
right.
sure.
You said there was a latch on the door. Is it possible the door was not closed all the way and there was a draft in the home somehow and it blew open? It sounded like there was a latch coming off, but it was actually the lock mechanism releasing when the door was opening?
Nah, because it happened so many times, Bill, that when I closed it prior to the cameraman coming in, it was one of those deals. There's a longer clip of this. We actually had 4 cameras set up, and one of them shows the hallway behind the door that no one went in and touched this. But it was one of those deals that you close the door and you tug on it 2 or 3 times, because that was actually what we were going for in that session. And you heard Chris Blanchett say open a door after it had opened. But that's what we were kind of in that room for, because so many reports of not just that, but a whole bunch of doors that were opening up. So trust me, put some faith in me that door was pushed and then tugged on a couple of times by me, saying it's like, okay, we're completely shut. There's 3 doors to that room and every one of them was latched. So there you go.
Is that room seem to be where most of the activity occurs in this location? Is that like the most active room that leads to this room? Or
I would say probably yes. That particular room, I know I was in there in the dark one time and literally saw this ball of light energy come across the room and then just go to a door and disappear. I didn't say anything. I was in there with 2 young ladies during an investigation. And finally I said, anybody else see that? And one of them, who was sitting on the floor, got up and actually traced. She says, yeah, I did. This is where it went. And it went to the door and she traced the exact path of it. So nobody said anything at the time. The story in there is a former owner took his own life by hanging. And sadly, we were never able to find out why. And historically, they don't know why. But we left that place just before Cody and Satori came on the scene, because we would have maybe been able to find an answer to that question. But it was a great place. We just moved on from it because we had just too many other things to do. But we investigated there for about 3 years.
I just want to add, I saw Tony Rathman make a comment in there, and hello to Tony. But I went on an investigation with his team, Entity Voices, and they went to the Kreischer Mansion in Staten Island, and talking about a historical place with a lot of history. I mean, this place was creepy, and I actually witnessed something at that location in real time. Actually, 2 things. Actually, 3 things. So I understand as far as like a historical place, but you definitely need to check out Kreischer Mansion in Staten Island with your team. That place is very interesting.
We have a invitation to head to Manhattan for the Morris Jumel Mansion that we're hoping to get to before the weather gets real bad. So you never know where we're going to wind up.
Yep. Well, if you need help, I can arrange that to happen. Thanks to Tony Rathman. Hopefully you can get their team on the show in the future.
Yeah. We love Tony. We've had him on before. Do you want to shoot to another one here, George?
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Okay. Here's a really interesting one. And this isn't one of those that happened 20 years ago. It happened just a few months ago. We were in a former textile mill in Warren, Rhode Island. And we contacted a former worker at a different company there. It's something entirely different, environmental management now, but it was a textile mill. And this gentleman told us his name was Harold. So we asked the question, Harold, have you ever tried to move something before? And he responded, and again, I'm talking about Cody and Satori on site here. And he said, yes, I moved a newspaper. So what we did is we said, okay, we are going to put a piece of paper on this table, and we're going to leave the room. which we did, and we left the camera run on it. About 37 seconds after we left the room, this happened. Now, you're going to see someone put a K2 meter down on the table, and you're going to see that flash just prior to what's going to happen. Now, to the immediate right of this K2 meter, you're going to see the piece of paper that was put on the table, sort of tent style, actually get smashed down. So it's not a thing where air currents got under it, it opened, it blew around the room. This thing actually has pressure on top of it. So it's only about 20 seconds. So K2 meter triggers, and then to the immediate right, just keep your eye on the table and the piece of paper next to it. To the immediate right. See it?
Can you play it again?
Sure. Again, to the immediate right of the meter.
Mm-hmm. I seen it.
And it gets smashed down. And the interesting thing about it, again, it wasn't like a breeze came through, because I could, make the point. All the windows were closed, and they were. All the windows were closed. But how this thing manages to move is the most compelling thing, where it doesn't flip or do the typical thing that you could poke at. It actually gets compressed.
It actually looks like the air was taken out of it. It looks like pressure.
Correct. Downward pressure.
Yeah.
So after requesting something and putting a piece of paper, which, well, if you moved a newspaper, you should be able to do something like this. It was like 37 seconds after we left the room. When we reviewed it later on, we were very pleased. Very, very pleased. So it is possible.
Yeah, but that's unusual.
All right, I'm going to let George, you can handle these comments here.
Indeed.
I'm just going to sit back, let everybody weigh in on it until I get the okay, and we'll move on to something else, But I just thought it was very compelling that, again, we were acknowledged, and a bit of cooperation, where it's like, yeah, I'll try. So we tried to find something similar to a piece of paper, and what's better than a piece of paper? But nobody in the room at that time, which was just absolutely awesome. So can't wait to go back. And, we thanked Harold was his name. We thanked him profusely after that.
All right, let's move up.
Okay. Got another video here. This is in a town in Massachusetts. It's called Weston. These people had bought this wonderful, absolutely beautiful Victorian, and were going all through it. And there were some things going on with them and the contractors. So they knew about us and asked them if we could come in, just if we were curious or not. They didn't seem to have a real problem with it. They were going to move in one way or the other. And downstairs, there were some temporary construction lights that were wired into the breaker. So we went downstairs, and then during a session, we had a bunch of our ladies down there, and these things just started doing funky things. So they decided to find out if someone was responsible for it. So it's pretty much self-explanatory, but this is Julie DeMay, Wendy Thatcher, Nancy Lavina. They are down in the basement of this place, and I will let everybody judge for themselves.
You want to just put it down?
Oh, yeah.
That works. Okay,
What do you think?
that's good. Place my voice recorder. Nancy and Julie in the basement. Thank you
there.
very much for turning the light on for
Check
us.
the light down one more time?
Yeah, I think,
Can you check it from over there? Evidently not. I don't know. I can say. On or off? Is it really?
Let me see.
Little trapdoor right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got
Yeah,
wires
right.
here.
Who's the wife?
Yeah,
Isn't
lights
it
off. The light.
Are you trying to turn that back on? Could you try it?
Well, I'll come a little bit closer if that's okay. We're just inquisitive, and you must be inquisitive
Oh,
with
that's
us.
Perfect, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna walk over here. Maybe you can do that one more time for us.
Yeah, we'll watch from the distance. Can you flicker the light bulb or just turn it off? Thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
It sure wasn't Alexa.
Well, no, it wasn't. Here's the thing. All of those construction lights were on the same circuit. They weren't zoned. There was a lead that was wired into the breaker box. So if you tripped the breaker box
All of them.
and turned it on, then the guys would have light that were working in the basement. They're not individual lights. They're either on or they're off, all of them, because they had left them there because they were doing work down there. So when these things started lighting up individually and then going on and off on request, and again, this is part of, like, you know, an 8-minute video that we're just not going to sit still for tonight. But it was
Now,
another one of those things that make you go,
just to be clear, because
Sure.
the light, the bulb itself is not visible on the camera. It's not like somebody was in the room loosening the bulb, right?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, the girls weren't even in the room. And the last part where they literally walked away and say, okay, you know, go ahead, turn it off again. And off it went. And like I say, the main thing to remember is all of these are hardwired into the breaker box, which would be flipped on and off to turn them all on or turn them all off, depending on what time the guys got there to go to work. So,
Yeah. What helps to be validated more than anything else, Bill, with something like that is completely opposite of a flashlight session. Here again, in a flashlight session, you are loosening the connection between the light and the battery. And as it warms up, it contracts. As it heats up, it expands. This is not the case when you've got a light bulb completely screwed into an electrical outlet. And getting that kind of a response, because you could fake that with a flashlight session. If you wait long enough, it is going to contract and turn off. If you wait long enough, it'll expand and turn back on again. So this is, again, much more validation for what the communication was with that spirit.
weird.
Very good.
And the other part about it was, you know, I know we faded in and out and just got to the point on this, but it wasn't one of those things where we edited out 40 times they're asking it to go off. You follow me, and then finally it does go off, and you go, "Oh, the spirits!" You know, well, what about the other 39 times?
Right.
That's
That's a flashlight session.
I will also tell you this: when we reviewed it, we went down and I opened up the plastic case, the shatterproof case that protects them, and those bulbs are made in the USA. And the reason I say that, if bulbs are made in China, they're pretty wonky because they're known to be not exactly round. And that's why if they're made in China, they blow out and do weird things more than like a Westinghouse bulb here. That's something that's made in the United States. So that's how anal that we are. We even check the make of the
I will
bulb.
say this: when I was along with the Rathmans and the other party, you know, the other people that were involved in the team, I actually was walking underneath a light in the attic, and the light bulb just went off. And then when I went past it, it went back on again. So, you know, I have seen light bulb activity, but Eric from Boston, he wants to know, is it possible the spirit loosened the bulb? Or is it more, you think, interfering with the electronic?
No, everything was tight. Everything was tight. If I had to guess, if I'm going to go the supernatural route, I would say interaction with the electricity. Because that's a common thing, George, that the lights go on and off in my house. And oftentimes there's a really mundane explanation for it. Like, again, the quality of bulbs that you're using. that just wasn't the case here. So I put it down as weird and odd, and let people draw their own conclusions from it. The next one I want to get to is actually from the Conjuring House. Woo-hoo. And this only took place about a month ago. Julie DeMay is downstairs. She was still in her cast at the time, so she couldn't navigate the stairs. If you've been in the house, you know the stairs are like this wide, and you know they are definitely 1,700 stairs.
You could have pushed her down the cellar. She'd have made it that way.
No, well, it's getting back up. That's
yes.
So Julie's sitting there on one of the couches, and she is, poor thing is just trying to contribute. So she's asking someone, do something here. And then there's this commotion in the kitchen, and you'll hear it here where it sounds like things are falling and pans are being moved or something. And we thought that was interesting because nothing was out of place. But one of the guests in the house, who actually is an investigator, her name is Kristen Harris. She's from Massachusetts. And I was playing this for everybody, and Kristen said, wait, before that happens, after Julie says something, there's another voice. This is why it's always great to have another pair of ears there. We replayed it, and the entire place just gasped because they were like, oh my God, she's right. So for whatever reason, Kristen, if you're watching tonight, this is all on you. Thank you for finding this. It's only like maybe 30 seconds long, but I did label this one to draw everybody's attention to it. So this is the Conjuring House, and I believe this is just this past summer. So here it is.
Is there anything you can do to get my attention? It's not. There's somebody walking around over here. I thought I heard something. Are you in the kitchen?
So you can obviously hear the noises out loud that Julie mentioned. Is somebody walking around in there? There was nobody in the kitchen. So this drew our attention, and then this deeper kind of smoky female voice that said, look this way. And then you hear the noise over there. I'll just play that part one more time, and I'll take it off.
Is there anything you can do to get my attention? It's not.
Okay.
That's creepy. Now I'm going there in a couple of weeks, and I'm starting to say, "Oh boy, I don't know if I want to go in that room."
Are you going to Conjuring House, Bill?
Yeah, 2 weeks from today.
Oh, nice.
Are you go? Wait a minute. Are you going, George?
No.
Oh, come on.
This is not going to end well.
It's not going to end well. I'm looking at the book in the background.
No.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right. If the week after, when we do the show, you can tell me how incredible it was.
Oh my God, Ken, this isn't going well. I tell
Send
you.
George to RhodeIsland.com.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, we'll tell you all about it, I guess, on, like you said, the following.
Say hi to the lady that said, look this way for me, Bill, would you?
I was hoping to get a book in person.
That was a rather smoky voice there. Look this way.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah. I'm going to turn this over to George. I know George got a couple loaded up. I'm going to play one EVP, and then we'll come back. One of my favorite ones from the Pain House Museum. You've heard me talk about it ad nauseum on this program. But we've been there for 11 years. And when we first started, everything that we thought we knew about this place was wrong because we got more information. So the name of the little girl who allegedly haunts this place named Sarah, not her name at all. Her name is actually Clara, close enough. But we had so much interaction that one of our guests, Claudia Botello, decided she was going to play a little game. with this little girl's spirit to just see if there was an acknowledgement. And she said, I'll bet you're a smart little girl because we got an awful lot of recordings. So the game she played was running down the ABCs and stopping and asking the little girl, what's the letter that comes next? So this is the result of that, and it remains to this day one of my favorite clips.
And I say C, and you say,
Wow.
And that's our little girl Clara,
And
or someone.
You can hear the young voice too.
Yes, absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
doubt. In my mind, I'd say, in my opinion, no doubt.
Mhm.
Doubt. George?
Yeah.
Play that again for me.
Sure.
and I say C, and you say,
Is that voice indicative of the little girl that you guys have been talking to for years now? Would you put that two and two together?
Yeah, you see, what happens, I just ran into somebody who told this exact same story that, and it's actually at the Conjuring House. The little boy that Andrea's youngest sister, April, used to play tag with, in the book, in the movies, and everyone else names him Oliver Richardson. The kids found out his actual name.
Yeah.
And the way they did is they literally sent Abigail Arnold said, could you go ask him? She said, fine. And then you hear the footsteps literally go away. And we were all there. There must have been 12 people in this room. Then the footsteps come back and get louder. And she says, his name actually is Henry. But in that case, just because of the acknowledgement that someone gives these children, and Sarah was the same way, she just answered to it. Whoever it was, it could have been, little boy, little girl, but just the idea that they were being acknowledged was enough for them. If you want to call me, so I'm just happy to be talking to somebody and know you can hear me. So if you want to call me Sarah or Oliver, I'm going with it. So that story mirrors exactly what's going on here. We know this little girl's name is not Sarah, it's Clara. And
how long ago was this, Ken?
I would say probably maybe 8 years ago.
Any other activity from this since?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I say, Bill, we've been there for 11 years. We wouldn't have lasted that long if if we weren't getting, some kind of feedback out of it. Jeannie Sharp just asked, she said it's, however, paraphrasing it, it's fascinating but sad at the same time. So, Jean, I just want to let you know that Clara is with her mom and dad, and that entire family is there. And this has nothing to do with my psychic acumen because I don't have one. Again, I have to give Cody and Satori, and those of you who have seen them and know what they do.
Yes.
This is where this information comes from, because after 11 years of being there and recording, what they are able to do is give us emotional content where these people come through and it's like, yes, finally I can talk to you now. By the way, my bedroom upstairs was green when I lived here. I hate the color that they've painted it right now. I mean, are you kidding me? So they give us this type of content, which is how we know. There's a Sarah. She's actually the mother. She lived till the age of 72. She had a little girl and a 19-year-old sister. So, Gene, if it makes you feel better, because it makes me feel better, they're with family. They choose to be there. They come in visitation, and then they're in a better place. And this is something that, touches your heart really when you find out these things.
Wow.
Yeah. I can say I've been privileged to be at Paint House now 2 or 3 different occasions, and it is a phenomenal location. It really is magical. And in that same vibe of what Ken was talking about, what Cody and Satori were doing, several years back at the Pain House, we did a collective consciousness experiment with a couple who held hands, kind of went into a trance state, and wound up portraying the mother and daughter. And the one thing they talked about that they missed doing together was working in the garden outside. Had we had forethought to the abilities of those who would follow, such as Cody and Satori, it'd have been interesting to ask the questions then. What do you think of the paint job? What do you think of the color of your room? And see
That's
whether
so
or not,
cool.
these people
Amazing.
would have, just to compound that and see. But sticking with the Pain House to kick off some of the stuff that I have here, and again, some of it may have been viewed by many of you, maybe not. I know there's one here that Ken hasn't even heard before, and I'm looking forward
Great.
to playing that. But we'll stick at the Pain House with this first one, with a device that I fell in love with for about 5 or 6 years, where it was my everything in the field. And we're talking about the Shack Hack. The original spirit box that people were using. Went on. We had John Zappis along with us too, so he'll be part of this also. But this was Ken should be able to correct me or not, but I believe this was on the second floor. I've got 5 clips from there, and they're all very, very short, less than 20 seconds for the most part. But listen to some of the responses here on this Shack Hack. As the first one is, I'm just setting up the spirit box. Take a listen.
Can I hear Sarah say your name? Tag that.
Zaphis.
So it's almost what reminds me of is The Exorcist when she's yelling, downstairs for the priest, that kind of a thing. So Zaphis 3 times on there. And then this one is just quite compelling again, the response back of a girl giving her age.
The female speaking to us in 1930. How old are you? Repeat it.
And same voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the same voice. Got stepped on at the beginning, but you heard her say it again. And that's one of the things that was part of my Bible when I did these sessions here. I don't know if this thing was falling. Hopefully the spider didn't land on it. No, he's still up there. Okay. 2 things that were critical when I would establish contact doing this. One was repetitive response and trigger words. Very important. And so when we would get these responses, and I'll have another one for you a little bit later on, also from the St. Augustine Old Jail, that I asked for the repeat again and actually got an extended answer with regards to that. Here we go. Also here at the Pain House, here's another one of those clips on that second floor. Is it the second floor, Ken? Do you recognize it?
Yes, second floor.
All right, here we go.
We mean you no harm. I would just like to know, can you please tell me who was here with us?
Very nice stuff back and forth. These last 2 are my favorites on there. Something to say, Ken?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that these are scanning through channels at 0.2 of a second. So when you have a sentence put in there, I'm talking about something significant, 4 or 5 words like that. Probably be extremely difficult to do in 0.2 of a second as you're scanning. So those were exceptionally clear, and they seem to be in direct response to what you were asking. Or someone that knew that you couldn't hear it, but maybe they're conversing with somebody else, which I find is interesting. Who is that guy? I don't know.
That's what I thought. They were conversing with each other.
Yeah, right. They had the conversation back and forth. We've caught thousands of those pieces of evidence where they're talking back and forth and getting those answers on there. All right, here's the next clip from the Pain House. Here you go.
Wait, before you do that, George.
Yeah.
I am sounded very dominant, like an alpha. Do you think that was because it sounded like it put its foot down? I am.
I've got one coming up for you, Bill, that is just make sure you're sitting down. All right. 2 away.
Ooh.
All
Okay.
right. Here comes this next one, though. Listen.
That's ridiculous.
One almost sounded like it had an English accent.
I didn't pick that up. You want me to play it again?
Play it again.
All right.
I remember. It sounded.
Yeah, and I'll throw something else at you too. The voices almost sound like old motion pictures from the 1940s. That type of cadence in the way that they were speaking, that it wasn't modern day,
Agreed.
like from a jock, from a DJ.
The one thing I always pay attention to when you go into older places is the use of contractions. And at one point they said didn't instead of did not.
Right.
Now, that doesn't necessarily negate this at all, because contractions, depending, you're at Payne House. This has had a history, excuse me, from 1730 to present day. There are a lot of iterations. It was always a tavern and was for the longest time. So you're not necessarily talking to somebody from the 1700s. You could be talking to somebody from the 1900s.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a contraction in there, a lot of times if I'm in a place that hasn't been lived in for a very, very long time, then I'll say contractions, they're not using the King's English. In this case, I don't think it casts any aspersion on that whatsoever, because contractions were used in the 1800s. And if these were farmhands or people who weren't the elite, like the former lieutenant governor of the state who once owned it, then I think it falls into line that they're going to speak that way. So, it's not like you were recording Abraham Lincoln. You could have been recording Abraham Lincoln's gardener.
There's something more to that also, Ken, which Cody and Satori have certainly validated in their process, which is transient. Transient spirits that come by. And when they're talking about whatever this event was that transpired yesterday, time frame wise, if there were investigators in there, if there were workers that were in there, they could have had those spirits that were following them still lingering. And that's where that conversation had a bit of a difference in its dialect. So
the one thing I'll say about Payne House before we move on here is that, and you won't hear any of these recordings tonight, but we have recorded people using phraseology and terms that we use in current times.
Right.
And we know they can hear us. We're not able to bridge that gap. The kids can. We cannot, but they've let us know we hear everything you say. So there's a give and take there where they're learning our phrases, how we speak, how we refer to different items that didn't exist when they were alive. So there is a learning curve going on there as well. So again, contractions, and I know all about the idea of when they're used and the context of what they're used, but
so you think they're adapting to communicate?
Yeah, it doesn't invalidate what it is at all, because like I said, this place has been around for 60 years, and there have been a lot of people who lived there. So
may I suggest that from now on, when Satori goes all the way through the alphabet and she hits Z, she should also add apostrophe.
The grammar police.
There we go. All right, this one here, this one I wanted you to hear, Bill, because the very last, and I'll play this twice if you want me to, but the very last voice that comes across the spirit box, I cannot tell you whether or not it actually was a disembodied voice. That's how loud this is. So just take a listen.
That is creepy.
I cannot tell you if that is a disembodied or it's coming off the spirit box. Ken, can you decipher? Want to do it again?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Understand. This is what's interesting about that because it doesn't seem to be in context of. I don't know if you were asking it any questions. I know the previous one, it was unattended. Is that the case with this one?
That I believe, if memory serves, was the case with this one also.
Okay, so we often talk about residual energies that are left behind. And sometimes when you get these words back and they don't fit in the context of what you're questioning, it does not necessarily mean that you haven't tapped into a previous event.
Correct.
A time slip. For example, when you talk about the word apparitions, the normal thing we get is a full-bodied and you can see a human figure. An apparition can also be a sound or a smell by definition. We've just pigeonholed it into human form because this is why people hear footsteps or something dragging or falling or crashing, and then they go in another room to see, they're expecting to see the china closet has hit the floor and nothing's out of place. You're still tapping into those residual sounds, and there's nothing to say that you didn't do it in this case from somebody who was having a conversation or an argument or a debate from 1793. You just happen to tap into it, and it doesn't fit the context of the questions you're asking, but it doesn't make it any less compelling because you're still going through and picking up this stuff. And it's very well could have been residual where this wasn't coming from the radio at all, but because you had a recorder and a camera going, there's still a microphone on a camera.
Yeah.
And that's where we get a lot of recordings from. It doesn't have to be a little Sony digital.
Kind of a
The one thing though, this was all in the same night, George?
Yes, almost the same session.
Because there are familiar voices from all the clips.
Yeah.
But then it sounded like a female's voice, scared. It just was. It was
painful.
Odd. Yeah, it was very odd. But again, it sounded like the Englishman speaking to the other gentleman, and then you had the other voices in there. So it was odd. But those voices are familiar. The two that I hear clearly were on the other two clips.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then there's always the possibility of tapping into two different conversations where you've got something present and they have no awareness of each other.
Yeah. This could also be compound evidence where those that were coming across the spirit box was intent, and that final one was actually disembodied. Because again, how pronounced that was compared to the others that came across the bandwidth. So I don't know. Last one I'll throw here. Actually, I got two, but we could throw one more here, Ken, if we want to throw it back to you at this point, because again, these are all short clips. Sure. This one, most of you probably know. If not, I can tell you on our TikTok page, this has the most amount of views and comments, predominantly about the voice of Ed Warren. Several people have validated that it is without question his voice. This was set up also in Harrisville. This was at Bathsheba's gravesite. I could tell you the stories about what was going on during this session, but Spirit Box session in camera view is Andrea Perrin and John Zaffis. John Zaffis asking the questions. Here we go.
Ed, what is the one thing you want to tell them?
I'll do that again. Again, listen in the chat. It happened.
Ed, what is the one thing you want to tell them?
Now, the female echoing what he said about it happened, Lorraine was still alive at the point you did this.
They were speculating as to who it may be. No one can know for sure. But if you notice, it happened. Yes, they are not wrong. Are all the same voice across this bandwidth. All the same voice.
What was the context of that? What happened?
The events at the Conjuring House. Did the events happen
so yeah, we didn't
when the Perrin family lived there.
Right.
You know, so people are questioning whether or not, and have been questioning whether or not those events actually had occurred. So he was validating it on the other side.
So obviously Zaffis would know his voice.
Yeah. Oh, the minute because there are a couple other clips, and they're on my personal YouTube page where he's talking to him, and he recognizes him right off the bat. He knows that it's him. So yeah, that's some amazing stuff. Trying to think what this last one is, where I put it. I don't see that I have it here, Ken, so I'll save it for the other side of the break. What else would you like to throw?
Unattended 12 men, or that you're saving that one, right? Because you got one that I love that I know. George was taking requests like a DJ today. Bill, what do we got? About 5 minutes left.
I will say this though, Ken, it would be really interesting, and I hope that you guys are doing this. When you're documenting what they're doing at the house with these people that are coming out with details, with Cody and Corey, I think it would be really interesting to keep some kind of a journal, what each specific group is discussing, because it seems like they're giving a lot of detail about their backgrounds.
Yeah, I'll go you one better. There's video documentation of everything they're doing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Literally hours and hours and hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That at their request will release and show with their prior knowledge, you know, as well as Jacqueline Nunez's, who owns the Conjuring House. But there are literally dozens and dozens of hours of all of this.
I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, well, you know, you're just all going to be in the big movies. If we got about 5 minutes, I'll play a couple of video clips. We'll save the longer one when we come back from break. Sometimes some of these things don't make you jump and gasp. Some of them are actually pretty funny. And a number of years ago, when we were investigating the Belcourt Mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, for a full year, we were so honored to be able to go into one of the Newport mansions and literally spend every weekend there. And there were a lot of claims. If you could think of it, it probably happened other than somebody levitating out a window. Full-blown apparitions, disembodied voices. But there were also a lot of people who felt that they were being touched and grabbed. And here's an example of that by one of our guests. This is stationary camera that we just happened to have running, and we got kind of a good laugh out of this, but she was obviously being bothered by somebody. Here we go. She's with her husband there, and then you'll see her react.
She's looking around like
she moves away, gets her again, and now she goes to her boyfriend like, what the hell? Something over here is grabbing me. Here's one of our guys, Chris Blanchett. That was in the grand banquet hall downstairs.
I don't know, but I see like a little orb going away from her.
Possibly. It's difficult to determine those kind of things because, it's an old place. They're moving around. So
it could be.
It is what it is. So they could be kicking something up. But we thought it was.
That is. She kept looking back.
Hey, we've got. So whoever Sex Find Pro is in there in chat room right now, we'll let Bill do your thing right now, and
I got it.
We're sorry but listen, that happens. Hi, Aaron.
That's what goes on when you hit 1,000 subscribers.
That's it, man. When you become like we have stalkers now, take it someplace else.
All taken care.
You're not going to get a lot of clicks here. So I'll end with this.
To be 15 years old again.
Yeah, right. I know.
We're 50.
You're still living at home. Mom's basement, having your own computer. Okay, so before we go to break here, one more. And this is a place called the Rose Island Lighthouse. Some may recognize the name. It's in Rhode Island in Newport. And I think it was featured on Ghost Hunters and maybe a couple of other shows. But you can literally rent this island and go out there for a week, a night, a weekend, and become the lighthouse keeper out there, and you got the whole place to yourself. So we were out there with a crew, and we were around a fire, and everyone had gone into a session. So I didn't want to walk into the middle of someone's session. So I went to what's called the Foghorn Room, which is a beautiful standalone master bedroom in a brick building that's off of the lighthouse that they converted, and you look over the Atlantic Ocean, and it's just what you think it is. It's called the Foghorn Room because that's where the foghorn was when it got a little soupy out there. So I went in there, put a K2 meter up, had a camera in my hand, and all I'm doing is asking if anybody's there, they want to talk to me. So I'm by myself in this room. So this is what transpired.
You like to make that light up or maybe move something in the room. Just looking for a sign that you're here. And you can hear me.
So I'm going to ask, does it sound like whoever that is says my name can
I think can
keep me in the room maybe, or I don't know, subjective?
You should play around with the speed on that. You know what I mean? Speed it up, slow it down. I think that might make it more clear. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, typically I may do that for myself, but I don't like to mess too much with the raw.
Yeah, I get that because you don't want the authenticity of it.
I will tell you this, for viewing and listening purposes on this show or in presentations, I do amp these things because I don't have enough headphones to go around to everyone in the library.
We got to go to break.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
He's telling the producer.
Somebody's keeping on that. All right, guys, we'll be back right after the break. We'll continue on with more evidence. You're watching Dead Air Live.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please, donate now to help people affected by Hurricane Ian. Your support is urgently needed.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
Guys, welcome back to our second hour of our Halloween Evidence Spectacular with yours truly, Ken DeCosta, and myself doing a hell of a job trying to give you the creeps before you go to bed. And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Bill Forte, our producer, is our eyewitness on the spot, giving us his feedback as to the evidence that we're providing. Mr. DeCosta, I'm going to turn it back to you. I'm trying to get this other video uploaded. So in the meantime, let me get off screen and let you guys do what you do.
Okay, so a couple of comments I want to address. Erin Bush said that voice sounded like Chewbacca. It kind of has that to it. You're right. And see, Sarah says I sound like I'm channeling Bob Ross. Says, I do love happy little trees. You're absolutely right. I want to play it again, though, one more time, because I have people say it sounds like this. I can, because I did introduce myself. Maybe you hear that, maybe not. This is a subjective one, but being in a room by yourself, I never heard this. It is creepy as hell. Here it is one more time.
You like to make that light up or maybe move something in the room. Just looking for a sign that you're here. And you can hear me.
That's a creep show. That's a creep show. I do sound like Bob Ross, don't I?
I hear your name though. I do hear that you're saying Ken.
Well, because I may be in your head right now. You know what I mean? But who knows? The next one here is a short one. I am actually in jail for this, or actually locked inside a jailhouse in a town hall in Middleborough. And who else but Cody Desbian is standing outside. And we were recording this woman, and she seemed to be singing. And I didn't hear it at first. He did. But then eventually it came through loud and clear. So take a listen, and we'll catch you on the backside.
I'd be happy with just knowing your name. You know our name. I think it's only fair that we know yours. Did you just hear something? No, I did not. It sounded like a female. Again, maybe about 15 seconds ago.
No. Oh, there it is.
Start it again.
Yep.
All right, wait a minute. I have to write this down.
I heard it.
There's we call it the singing woman of Middleborough Town Hall. And she let herself be known to us a few times. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the camera moved over to where I was in jail there. It was a bum rap. I got railroaded. I shouldn't have been in there.
But was that a female facility or?
It was everything. It was basically a holding cell for anybody who was arrested over the weekend before Monday rolled around and they could go to trial. So there were kids in there. There were women, drunks, people who got in fights, whatever your offense was, they would just throw you in there until the magistrate came in on Monday. So it was, it served the community, put it that way. Let's see. Where do we want to go to? There's George. He's back. If you want to, we can get this out of the way because I want to revisit Cody and Satori. This is kind of a long one. And with your indulgence, I'll play it again. They were on our show 2 weeks ago when we had our special game show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Amazing.
And we had just played this because it had just happened 2 days prior to us coming on. And so this thing is still fresh. It's only about 2 weeks old. In a nutshell, we revisited a place that was investigated in 1968 by the great Hans Holzer. And the gentleman had found out by reading one of Hans Holzer's books that he had bought the house that he was writing about, which is a funny story in itself. So we had been there a couple of times, and there's a much longer story to this as far as the corroboration we got from the actual spirits there to what we'd experienced in our first two visits. But in this case, we were asking about Hans Holzer and if anybody remembered him. Was there anybody in there before us? Do you remember them? And somebody came through who lived in the late 1700s to maybe the mid 1800s. So this is how far back we're talking about when people come in and out of the atmosphere for visitation. He remembered Holzer. So for those of you who saw this a couple of weeks ago, our apologies, but maybe some of you haven't, and we just got to get to this. So talking about Hans Holzer, does anybody remember him being there?
Okay. Things calm down over there?
It always startles me when they run in from
They're running in, yeah.
Hi.
Anna French? Anna Hicks?
Somebody new?
Oh. Hello. Is this somebody new? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, E. George? Okay, because I only knew G-E's. Next word, last name? Can we get a last name? A, B, C, D, E, F, F. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R.
George French?
George French.
Hannah's husband?
I thought that was William French.
George? You're not Hannah French's husband, right?
No.
How are you related?
Son.
Brother-in-law?
Father? Son.
He's like, which one? Which one do I
sorry,
go?
you're right. Yeah.
Son? Okay, son.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. That's like a family reunion.
That's so nice.
Okay. So, all right.
Can I ask, are you here often? No, you were just here because Mom was here? Okay. All right. Well, if you can get Mom back, I think we have a couple questions.
I'll go get her.
Yep. George?
Somebody's coming back.
Yep. Hannah French? Did your son go and get you? Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a couple questions before I let you go.
We want to make sure all of our timeline's correct, too. Because it got confusing with a lot of the same names. Okay.
Okay, so what did you want to ask us?
How do you think I feel? She
Ask
said.
random questions.
Oh.
So you asked timeline?
All right. So, Hannah Hicks. Hicks was your maiden name.
And then she married a French.
No.
We're talking to Hannah Hicks.
Hannah, her daughter, married a French.
Yeah,
Oh
Hannah, her
my
daughter.
gosh,
married
we're
a
getting into this whole family
That's
thing.
why I'm trying to confirm it.
Okay, so we're
All right.
talking to Hannah Hicks.
Hannah
Okay.
Hicks. Remember the daughter came through and said, that's my mother's maiden name?
Yes, I know that, but I'm trying to...
And her mother is Hannah with an H.
Okay.
Right? All right. Hannah Hicks. Hicks was your maiden name.
No. It was her mother's maiden name.
Yes. That's who we're talking to, right?
Okay, the mother.
Okay.
Oh. See, we're doing this whole roundabout Hannah thing.
Okay, Hannah, what was your married name? Last name?
A, B, B, A.
Bullock.
Bullock. There you go.
Okay.
You.
So Hannah Hicks married.
Became Hannah Bullock.
Yes.
And she had a daughter named Hannah,
Bullock.
who became Hannah French. Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Okay.
You gotta print up a
I
scorecard
have
here.
to ask. Hannah Hicks or Hannah Bullock, did you write your name in the barn? Because there's Hannah written in the barn.
Yes.
Yes. So is the Hannah in the barn with an H?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be her then. Okay.
Yeah.
Mama Hannah. That's what I'm going to call you. Mama
Yeah.
Hannah. Okay. All right. Can I ask real quick, do you remember somebody that may have been named Hans Holzer that came here? No, you don't remember? Okay, that's fine. Maybe you weren't here at that time. Like, maybe you were just not around.
Hannah?
Whoa.
Oh, everything's gone.
Okay, Hannah Bullock. Have you or anybody with you ever tried to speak to somebody, or have you ever had anybody come in here try to speak to you before tonight?
How about before
That was a
Ken?
long question.
Do you remember anybody coming here to ask questions to you before Ken was here?
Before the chair moved and everything.
Okay.
You remember that? Or somebody else that's here? Is it you that remembers?
No.
All right, who remembers? Can I have your name? Even if we've talked to you before.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, R. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, A, B, C,
Richard?
Richard?
Richard, can I ask for your last name?
Richard Bullock.
Bullock? He said yes as soon as he said yes. So you remember. Okay. Interesting. Was it a man? Okay.
Did he speak with an accent?
Yeah, he didn't sound like he was from this town. How many words? First word A, B, B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. Box. Next word A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, with. Next word A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, W. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, H. A, B, C, D, E, E. A, B, C, D, E, E.
Wheels?
He had a box with wheels. Okay.
The wheels
Okay.
Wagon.
All right, a couple of people in chat real quick. What are they doing? What they're able to do is having contact with each other, call on a spirit, and knocking begins on the floor as they approach. It literally comes in, like as they're walking in, starts out faintly, gets louder. So what they've developed is a way to run through the alphabet, and whoever they're contacting will tap on the letter as they spell a word. That's it in a nutshell. Believe me when I'm telling you, we've tested everything. They've had their shoes off. We've grabbed their ankles. We've put equipment down. I don't know how they do it. It's borderline miraculous, but they're able to do it. So
for reference, if you remember Breaking Bad and Hector Salamanca with the bell, and they had a chart, and they would go it was AEIOU, and then they go across from there with all the letters to be able to sound out the words because he couldn't speak. This is an old school that they have brought back that just seems to be working incredible with them.
Incredibly, they have gone so far as to sometimes spell out what I'm thinking or the person I'm thinking of
or
without telling.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
It sounds, or the interpretation at times seems that they're trying to communicate so much. Like it sounds at some points when they keep making the tapping sounds. It's like I don't know if it's excitement or frustration, but it's like almost like I don't want to say a tantrum, but it's like they just want to get it out. Do you hear that at times where there's multiple tappings going on?
There are literally, think of if someone was actually able to communicate and you don't control who comes through. And people are literally, the best way I can describe it is people are lining up to be heard.
Yeah. And one of the things Ken and I were hypothesizing is what if what we hear with that tapping is actually vocal, that they're actually talking and talking and talking. But again, so when they're doing yes and no, it's easier for us to comprehend as opposed to a full-on conversation which they seem to be having. That may be, and it's just a suggestion of what that multiple tapping sound is. We don't.
So you're saying it could be yes and then a few words, or no and then a few words?
Yeah, I mean they grasp the idea of it's the old school: once for yes, twice for no,
right.
And then it's explained to spell out. I mean, I've had my mom, my sister, everybody in our group has had someone come through using nicknames, things like that. It's astonishing.
Because it sounds like when you said to get the other person, it sounds like they were walking away and then you hear the steps coming back to the person.
This would happen at the Conjuring house. Literally, the taps moved away as she went and got somebody. I mean, it's incredible. In sum total, what happened here is that this gentleman who lived in the late 1700s, mid to early 1800s, described what Hans Holzer, confirmed it was Hans Holzer there, and he was using a box with wheels. It took us a couple of seconds to realize what he was referring to was a reel-to-reel tape recorder, which is what he did use back in those days to record the sessions. Because we were thinking of other things that immediately the visual is he's towing something, but it wasn't. He's actually describing the box with wheels was a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Wow. Amazing stuff.
That is amazing. They are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of you are amazing because it's a group effort as well. I mean,
before I'm going to turn it over to George, somebody requested this, and this was this might be the favorite thing, my favorite thing that we've ever recorded. And we were in another old textile mill in Rhode Island that a husband and wife had just bought, and they were turning it into a plastic recycling business on the first floor, but they were going to rent out other floors. This is another one that ended up on Ghost Hunters. We were actually, in there first, checking it out. And I'm in a room that they saw something flying around on the closed circuit TV camera that I was convinced was a bug. It's just a bug that was flying around. It wasn't a ghost, but we did an EVP session in there. This particular town was founded and built by French Canadians. And to this day, they have a very large French Canadian population there. So I thought it might be cool to ask some of the questions in French. And this happened at the very end of our session as we're wrapping up, and I'm thanking them for their time if they tried to communicate with us. And I just tell them, merci beaucoup, thank you, in French. And I get a response back, and this is what I got.
And if you have tried to talk to us, thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
Wow. They
I
said
just-
the same thing to you.
The way he's speaking, I pictured him holding the cigarette like this, you know. Merci beaucoup.
Or something like that, with a glass of red wine.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it might be like the best thing we've ever gotten back. That's awesome. Thank you for asking for that. We kind of jumped ahead.
Yep. Like
But-
Adam said, accent too. Yep.
Yeah, no question. George, I guess you're all set here to rock and roll. I think you got it uploaded, so why don't you take
Yeah.
it away?
Yeah. Is the nuclear lake yours by any chance?
It is. I wanted to surprise you guys with one of mine. at the
All right,
end.
well, hold tight here because I definitely want to hear that too. Let's do a little continuation here, guys. Both with the spirit box, and these both were in from another geographical tour, St. Augustine, Florida, oldest plated city in the United States, plated in 1565. A lot of history, gorgeous, gorgeous town, and place that I've loved to visit over and over and over again. So these two quick ones here. One, there were two of the tour guides from the city of St. Augustine that went around with me to a lot of the haunted locations. We wound up by Huguenot Cemetery, and just wanted to run a real quick spirit box session. And this was the first time they ever experienced anything like this. And so you'll hear them freaking out and me getting all excited. Spirit box session in St. Augustine at the old cemetery. All right, the woman who says I have something to say, you came across strong. Can you come across first to say St. Augustine and we'll get your question in? St. Augustine. Oh! You are great! You are great! Okay. That to me was like, okay, I love when you guys come back with something like that.
Yeah.
You know. Now this next one here was at the St. Augustine Old Jail. And this was using an echo box, not the spirit box that I've used forever. This was only a couple years back, and the proprietors had asked me to come back on the anniversary of the investigation that we did, where we had caught, we were only 8, talking about 8 hangings, still played on the tour buses throughout St. Augustine. Every time they pull up with the tour buses to the old jail, they play the clip that we captured back then, which we appreciate. But this was a new device and something new that we were trying. And again, repetitive response was what was critically important. So take a listen. You'll hear the question and then the answer.
How many are here with you? Say how many, give me a number. How many are here with you? Repeat the number.
Repeat it again.
12 men.
Did you say 12 men?
Same voice, only voice coming across at that time. And I kind of get a kick out of the delay as if they were doing a head count around the room to see how many spirits were there before he
Right.
responded back.
Right.
That was tremendous. I really, really enjoyed that entire session that we did there. So, I'll go, Ken, here in a little bit to Curse City. And we'll get to that. The one thing that most importantly to me is with regards to Amanda. Those are the three that I wanted to get a hold of. The other ones I had otherwise, clip wise, was the clips from Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, where you can see this spirit standing in the back. If you look to the right of the woman, that's Courtney in the middle, you'll see a woman dressed in somewhat of a nurse period gown.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the outline there. That was done with a night vision camera. And so, all right, I'll get back to that here in a second, Ken. I'll let you do a couple first, and
Sure.
then and there's a funny clip I got to play before the end of the show tonight. So hopefully we can get through some of this.
Okay, seeing as how we're on photos, I have only snapped one photo in the entire time I'm doing this that I could point to and say it's not a shadow, it's not a reflection against any kind of reflective surface like a window or a mirror or something like that. And this is at a private residence in Rhode Island. And we were sitting in the living room. I believe there were two of us, and our friend Tom Stewart was along on this one as well. And there was some noise in the kitchen, and we were only maybe 8 feet away from it. So we didn't move, but I raised up a camera and took this picture. So again, I'm just going to show this to you. I don't have an explanation for this. There was nobody there, but the two of us, or three of us actually, sitting on the floor in front of the TV. And then this is what the result of that was.
Oh.
Now, I see shoulders. I see a head looking away from us.
Kind of a 50s or 60s buzz cut, too, looks like.
Right.
Silhouette.
Toward now, that sort of darkish looking thing in front was actually a place where you would hang your keys.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, look, I know a camera is not going to photograph anything that you can't see with the naked eye. In this case, obviously, when the flash went off, I didn't see anybody in there. And there were multiple pictures taken of this. In the interest of time, I'm not going to toggle through 4 of them. But I can make out a nose, and it looks like he's looking away from us toward the wall or toward those keys. And that's the only time I've ever taken a picture that I just didn't immediately just shelf it.
Yeah.
Ken, is that a bed or a chair?
Yeah, chair.
Yeah, that's a kitchen. That is the dining, a small dinette is out in the kitchen through the doorway. And then you got the, like a doggy door that she had there.
It's almost like, go ahead, George.
Yeah, I was saying even his shirt looks like it's got patterns to it.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's eating off a dish, like he's holding something in front of him, and his head is slightly down, like he's looking at something. You know, and he looks like a big person too, kind of like a big person.
Yeah.
That's what I see. It's almost like he's got something in a hand, like a fork. I'm just saying. Everybody sees what they want to see, but it looks like he's slightly got his hand. You can see the nose, and it's like you said, the ear, the neck, the shirt. But it looks like his head is slightly down, and he's looking down at something. I don't know, and it's in a dining room, so.
Sarah, as far as a resolution to the case, I'm not sure. Like as in terms of being resolved, there's a lot of ways to go about that. We're not in that passing spirits over thing because I think that's presumptuous sometimes. Like you need to leave, and maybe they don't want to leave if they have free will.
Yeah.
So we can't make that assumption. I think that the last in talking to the family, they just basically made their peace with it. I mean, nobody was being woken up or attacked or bothered or anything. There were just things happening around the house, but we let them know to be a little bit more assertive, claim their space, do an affirmation, just say, listen, you know, we're going about our life. We own the house now. And I think that boundaries were set, and it seemed to be working for them. And sometimes that's the best course of action to take is don't allow yourself to be a victim in your own home. And, if anything ramps up from there, call us back. That's an open invitation.
That's it.
I will go with one more. We'll go back on the EVP deal here right now. Another mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. 3 of us are up on the 3rd floor, where typically the servants would stay. All your domestic help would be on the 3rd floor, out of sight of all the mucky mucks. The owners, their guests, whatever. This is why you see doors and staircases in these mansions, because that's where the servants would come out of. Like that's where Harry Potter lived, and the door under, the people under the stairs and all of that. But it was really a small, short hallway where they could come into the room quickly, serve the guests, and be done with it, so they wouldn't mingle with them. So we're up on the 3rd floor, asking for anybody up there if we can help them or if they want to communicate with us. And this is an example of a disembodied voice. This is not an EVP. 3 of us heard this out loud, and frankly, you wouldn't know it because we didn't panic. I was very proud of all of us for not, but shook us up a little bit. So here it is. Can you see us in this room right now? Can you see the both of us? Is there something that we can do for you? What was that? That was strange. Dave, was that you? What was that? Oh. If that was you, can you make that sound again? And they did not, but something in that room out of thin air just screamed.
They
screamed at us, no. Nothing you can do to help, but the anger there was palpable. So we spent a few more minutes there and left him in peace.
You could definitely hear it. Anguish in the voice, too, in the scream.
Yeah. Anguish and anger. And I will not get to all of these, but here's an example of people say this all the time. Getting EVPs in English if you go to like Romania somewhere, right? You don't. You'll get them in another language. And this was actually at Belcourt Castle again in Newport. And in this particular mansion, former owner Donald Tinney, he was a collector. And he was an excellent stained glass artist. But there were articles from like 33 different countries in there. Napoleon's tea set, suits of armor, mummy wrappings, things from the Ming Dynasty. So I took a mother and her daughter up there, and the mother was wearing this silver jacket you could see from space. And, just the cool mom type. And we were up in the organ loft, huge pipe organ, pipes like 6 inches around. And we were up in the organ loft and just doing an EVP session. And at the end of this, there's a loud whispered voice and the word alema that you'll hear. And I'll explain where that's going. But here's the clip.
Oh, so am I. All right.
Alema couldn't figure it out. So we went to different languages. There is the suits of armor are right below us, and they come from Japan, Spain, England, so forth and so on. Alema in Spanish means silver, which was the color of the jacket she had on, a very loud sequin silver jacket. So, so she was noticed. She got whoever it was, she got his attention.
Wow.
So pretty cool. But we had to go searching a little bit to find out what language it's in, and then boom, it just hit us. It's like, yep, all makes sense now.
Wow.
Okay, I turn it over.
For those of you, again, that are with us at this time, we're going over our evidence, Mr. Ken DeCosta and Rise of Paranormal and myself. George Lopez and some of my teammates will be introducing you to when I was still with Port Orange Paranormal Society. Quick reminder: next week, The Exorcist, Bill Bean, will be joining us. He's got a new book out, and we'll be talking about that and some of his exploits. So don't forget to click that reminder bell. Bill Bean, demonologist, next week, guys. So please join us. All right, still going around the horn for traveling in Florida. We went to St. Augustine. We're going to stay in Florida, and we're going to go to Kerr City in the Ocala National Forest. This particular small little town had a very short lifespan from 1887 to 1911. But a lot happened in that time frame and a lot of activity on this property. First one I'm going to play for you here. One of my humorous favorites, going from the post office on the property to the gravesite. There were three of us, myself, a female investigator by the name of Jackie, and a male investigator by the name of Bob. And Bob had even a deeper voice than I did. But what you're going to hear, I call the Michael Jackson impersonator, and you'll understand why here in a second.
All right, I'm gonna hook this back under my pants.
Fucking giving away.
That is not my voice, and Bob is a good old Southern boy with a very baritone voice. So listen again. Effing get out of my way.
All right, I'm gonna hook this back under my pants.
Fucking giving away.
We come to Kent's favorite right now, which is one of my favorites. And a little background on this one here. We had a friends and family night. We went to Kerr City so often and caught so much evidence. We wanted other people to have the same experience. So this one was bring friends and family. One of my team members, Rachel Jett, who happens to be the sister of Aaron Sagers, brought her roommate. And I had turned over to him my video camera while they went into the father's house. And as they were doing a basic investigation and inquiry in the bedroom, the father's house bedroom, and I know that Rachel was talking about the younger male investigators on my team, this is what transpired. Pay attention if you're looking at the screen, the right side of her head or the left side of her hair. Watch closely.
I know you've told Jeff to get out. You didn't want him in here. You didn't want the boys in here. Do you think they're disrespectful to you?
Seen it. It moved.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time.
I know you've told Jeff to get out. You didn't want him in here. You didn't want the boys in here. Do you think they're disrespectful to you?
And she's absolutely still at its.
Yeah. When I caught that doing review right on my dining room table, I sent her a clip of it, and she says, I never even felt it. Never even felt it.
She didn't. She
But
didn't sense it.
Creeping her out.
Love it.
I got one more here that is an homage to one of our team members that many of you heard me speak of her before. We lost her about 7 years ago in a car crash, Amanda. And the dialogue that we have had with her and those who surround her on the other side has been nothing short of miraculous. So I wanted to play this. Next month will be the anniversary number 8 since she's passed. And just a beautiful spirit. And I wanted you guys to get a chance to hear this because it is an important message. The only things I'll have left after this, Ken, are 2 audio clips that one is very, very short and the other one is comical as hell. So just take a look, take a listen, and understand the message. So that is an important part for those who you've lost and want to keep their memory alive. It literally is part of who they are. And continue to mention their name, continue to keep them in your thoughts. I think it's incredibly important that you know that. And Ken, I turn it back over to you. As I said, I've only got 2 more clips that I really want to hit.
Sure. We'll jump in here with a couple more EVPs. First one, again, is from Belcourt Castle, Newport, Rhode Island. And imagine, if you will, a group of investigators pointing these odd gizmos around with lights on them and recorders and cameras, going through an area that is has its origins in the 1800s with the Belmont family, asking for people to show themselves to them. And what you would think of these unfamiliar gadgets that they're waving around and pointing. And you'll get a little bit of the context in what this EVP is all about. And you will hear the words, "Take the weapons off," on this. And here is the raw file. Okay. Let's slow that down a little bit, as George just did. So it's interesting. Take the weapons off. So again, didn't make a lot of sense to us, but we look at our actions that night to somebody who's completely unfamiliar with what the hell it is that we're trying to do. That they're like, show yourself. And I don't know, these people breaking into my home, are they challenging us for some reason? And that's the way that they kind of felt about that. The next one comes from, once again, the Payne House. And I think it's safe to say, if you haven't gathered already, what a relationship we've built with the home, the people who come in visitation, because I don't believe they remain there. I think they enjoy the banter, they enjoy the attention, they enjoy the acknowledgement. And now that they know they can communicate with us through these 2 young people, I mean, it's astonishing. So a couple of our investigators are up in the attic, and they just asked the simple question, would you like us to leave? They had spent a good amount of time up there, and we made it clear we're not here to annoy you or make demands of you or ask you to entertain us. So in a very polite way, they just asked if you'd like us to leave. And this was the response.
Do you want us to leave?
No.
Yep. So what we honestly believe we hear is, no one needs to leave. One more time.
Do you want us to leave?
No one needs to leave.
And
very welcoming.
And sad. You know, they don't want you to leave. They really genuinely don't want you to leave.
Yeah. And I believe that with the, like I say, the relationship that we have established there with them, that's completely based on respect. And the last one I want to get into here really is, again, from Payne House, because it's been remarkable. We were doing an experiment, and at the time we didn't know any better. We were still calling on Sarah. So we were doing an experiment where you sit around the table, someone thinks of a question, and everybody repeats that question until it goes around the table, and then the next person thinks of a different question, and then you go around the table, and this repeats until everyone at the table, whether it's 4, 5, 6 people, have all asked a question, and they repeat it because everyone's trying to focus their energies on this one question. This is why you repeat it. So we were saying, you know, Sarah, are you here? Or Sarah, are you here? And then one of the ladies messed up. And for some reason, she used the name Katie instead of Sarah. Now, I'm in another room with a microphone in there with the door shut, and no one is to say anything other than the question. If I hear something remotely in the next room, I don't go busting in. I just go with it. No one is to say anything but repeat that question. So she asked for Katie, and I'm in the other room going, oh, it's not Katie, it's Sarah. And apparently the spirit that was there, made note of it as well. So this was that spirit's response.
Is Kitty here with us tonight?
So a confused spirit says, is Katie your name?
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
Is Katie your name? Like, who are you talking about? Who's Katie? There's no K. Is Katie your name? So not only did she get caught in that, but there's a spirit asking us questions, which is the best.
That's amazing. The typical child question right there, too.
Yeah.
I want to squeeze this one in. If I can get both, great. If not, this one's a little bit longer first because I know Bill has something he wanted to show us as well. Many years ago, I got a chance. I was going up for a wedding in New York and Poughkeepsie. And just my wandering brain wanted to see what was haunted around the area. And we came across this. Mid-Hudson Psychiatric Hospital.
If that's not haunted, it should be.
Let me tell you, it fenced off, but I loved it because, like, the entranceway, even itself, sounds like something out of a Stephen King novel. Winslow Gate is how we got in there, and it was terrifying. The girl that I was dating, Mandy, and myself went there in the middle of the night, and we started to walk towards these pitch black buildings, and you can hear us walking. You can hear the weather, and then we see something, and how freaked out that she became during this time. So it's about a 3-minute clip, 4-minute clip, something like that. Bear with me here, guys, but it's just a clip. So you'll be able to see us. If you all want to mute, go ahead and mute, but just take a listen. Holy smokes. Look at the size of this place. I'm getting chills already. See the eyes?
Stop. Don't. No.
Look, no, straight ahead. See what I'm trying to like.
No,
oh,
honey.
shit,
No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Hello? Oh, shit.
Honey, no. Seriously, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
All right, we're not staying.
Honey, please.
We're not staying. You stay there.
I hate you.
Holy shit. Okay. The reason why we're leaving, we saw a pair of shining eyes. And at the response, you keep walking forward, I'll keep walking backwards. Hold my shirt. At the response to hello, the eyes, which were looking down, looked directly back up at us. That
I hate you.
Guys, if you could have seen that on film, that was pretty tremendous. Just that little bit. So what we witnessed, what we saw in the pitch black were these two glowing eyes, red or orange, looking down. And when I said hello, it just went.
Oh, man. I'm out.
And the two red eyes had to be about 18 inches apart. So we're not talking deer. I doubt there was a bear in this fenced-in area. I don't know what it was. Red eyes. We're leaving. You can stay right there. It's your territory. Go ahead. That probably was one of the most, I don't think I have control over the situations that I would ever want to deal with. Right now, we got about 3 minutes left here, Bill, and you have something you wanted to show us, correct?
Yeah, it's a 20-second clip. This was at Nuclear Lake in the Hudson Valley, known for crazy activity. But I was there with Al, who's the head of a paranormal team in New York, and a friend from the UK that was here. A lot of people think it was her saying my name twice, but it wasn't. So you can hit the clip.
Let me find that again. Hang on. I'm going to just up a little bit. Here we go.
Poison ivy too, and all right, I'm gonna put my camera down a second. When something happens, it's almost like Blair Witch.
Yeah, the mozzies are out in force.
Yeah, you could see, you could feel them.
Yep. Can't hear them though, so that means
You
they're
got?
not the
Did you
bitey
put
ones.
spray at all, Al?
No.
Now, I heard Bill, but I don't know what she said the second time.
Well, while we were talking the second time, you heard Bill again.
Okay.
But
Bill whisper?
Yeah, it's a female.
It was Bill. But I put the camera down on this log, and as a joke, because it reminded me of that vibe, I said, if something happened, something got a Blair Witch. And we did not hear it. It was after I got home and put it up on video. Somebody said, did you know that somebody's saying your name? And I said, what? And yeah, and when you slow it down, it really sounds like Bill. It's creepy. But yeah, that was my Class A EVP session.
Nothing more of a high than when the spirits recognize you by name. And
For
we've
real.
all gotten that many a time over. It really is amazing.
This was a fun show, guys. I'm glad I was here with you, and thank you for inviting me on with both of you.
Yeah, as Ken said earlier today too, we had enough between the two of us, could have done another full show on this, and maybe we will. Maybe we'll revisit this and do this in a future date.
Let us know in the comments if this is something that every once in a while you want to hear, and we can make it happen.
Ken, if we get anything in 2 weeks, we'll be sure to show George in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, no, there's more.
Please, as many pictures and videos and audio of the Conjuring House as possible. Because
Anyway, thanks, guys. This was fun.
All right, you bet. Thank you,
as well,
Bill.
We got 90 seconds. Anything coming up on Dead Air Full Spectrum this week? Any shows? What's going on?
Tomorrow night is Monday Night Monsters, and they are going to be talking about the origins of Halloween, Samhain. That'll be followed up by another Extremely Strange. We're going to talk about vampires that night on Extremely Strange. And then Thursday will be Paranormal Perspectives, Carl Johnson and Elise Jamarco Carlson. And George, let them know one more time where we're going next Sunday.
We're going to the dark side. Exorcist, paranormal investigator, demonologist Bill Bean, who just wrote a new book, will be joining us talking about his exploits within the paranormal. And there are a ton of them, guys. And like I said, make sure you have the lights on when this happens. But we're looking forward to this. And maybe a second guest next Sunday. Ken's working on that right now to see. And some upcoming future things that I'm excited to see whether or not it comes to pass. So we're hoping all of this works for us. Stay with us, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, the thumbs up and that reminder bell. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun tonight. My name is George Lopez. With me, Ken DeCosta. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.